Most perpetrators of sexual assault were once themselves victims of sexual assault. Find out how Diddy was violated as a child.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
You got knocked the fuck out! What's happening?
Yes, most perpetrators, most people that commit sexual assault crimes were themselves a victim of sexual assault crimes. And most often it happens during their childhood, during their stages of development. And they spend their lives trying to sort through this and trying to bring some kind of normalcy to their lives. And ultimately, most of them that don't get help, that don't heal, they end up perpetrating others, enforcing sexual assault on other people. And this is the case with Diddy. Now, you all know Diddy. He's on the, he's in the media and things like that because allegedly he's been sexually assaulting many people, men and women. In fact, so many lawsuits have come out against Diddy. So many of them are aligned. Similarly, some of them say the same, almost the same exact things. So there has to be some truth in this. They all say the same stuff. And what's worse about it is that Diddy appeared to allegedly to have no remorse. And I'm thinking specifically to the one case, the one young lady that actually dated Diddy for a while. She said she was willing to accept the sexual assaults, the demeaning behavior, the disrespect, all of that, the abuse, the physical abuse, emotional abuse. She was willing to accept it because she really loved Diddy. But in the end, he forced her to have an abortion. She was pregnant by him and she ended up having to leave anyway. And then there's another girl that he met, her and her girlfriend, Diddy and his friend allegedly sexually assaulted them. And then Diddy went back to her house the next day and assaulted her again, punching her and kicking her in the stomach, all these kind of things. A lot of this stuff sounds very similar. And unfortunately, I'm not saying Diddy is the victim. What I'm saying is that at one point in Diddy's life, he was also victimized. My God. Now, Diddy has been spotted a few times in Miami. People are saying that this is where he's basically set up shop. He's staying in his house out in Miami. But he was spotted cycling a few times since the controversy and lawsuits were made public. Now, some suggest that cycling is not only a coping strategy for Diddy, but it's also soothing. And I can get this because Diddy used to run track in college. Diddy is an athlete. In fact, he's had some events in where he's publicly on video run marathons and, used to work out and things like that. So him riding a bike is not so far-fetched. He is an athlete. And especially when you're dealing with things like, for me, working out is more than the physical. It's the stress reliever. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, all these other factors and ways that working out benefits you. So I'm sure Diddy is benefiting not only a coping strategy with riding his bike, but also I'm sure it's soothing and I'm sure it makes him feel good. So Diddy used to run track, as I mentioned, and things like that. And he was also observed giving a woman a kiss on the cheek. And this looked like his mother. And when I show you this video, I want you to pay close attention to the words that are said and to the gestures between Diddy and his mother. And I'm going to pose some questions to you later on. I'm not going to show it right now, but I'm going to show it in a few minutes. And it's going to be very alarming. It's going to be very thought-provoking, and it's going to make you think and wonder what is really going on behind the scenes and what happened to Diddy. Now, what I'm truly trying to say that if these allegations hold true, then I'm saying that Diddy's behavior, although he needs to be held accountable 100% for all of his behavior, for his disregard, for the abuse of other people and all of that. But what I'm saying is that Diddy himself was once victimized. This is learned behavior. You don't just all of a sudden have an idea and it be this sophisticated with this kind of systematic approach and you have this many people associated with it and you're able to do it in such a good way. This is not Diddy's first rodeo. In fact, I'm certain Diddy was a part of someone else's rodeo at some time in his life in some way, shape, or form. I'm almost certain. Now, Diddy was spotted in Miami, and again, riding his bike, but he's also spotted walking around and things like that. Sometimes he actually talks to the people and to the public and things like that. But you couldn't help to notice that when Diddy was spotted in Miami this time, he had 2 hearts on his shirt. And I get it, Diddy, because Diddy, you can use all of the support and all the love from everybody. You can use it all right now. And I get it. But I thought that was definitely interesting. But I do also know that Diddy knows that the spotlight is all on him. He knows that TMZ, all these other media outlets are seeking him out, taking pictures and everything he does. So the world right now is Diddy's media oyster. So everything that Diddy does right now is contrived. Everything that he's doing right now on media is purposeful and intentional, trying to convey a certain message. To give you a little history, Diddy has been hit with several sexual assault lawsuits. In fact, the first bombshell dropped, I believe, in February of last year when Cassie, his ex that he dated for over 11 years, she filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, and he immediately settled the very next day for $30 large. Now, in my estimation, when you settle, that indirectly says you're guilty and you want to get this done with so nothing else comes out, especially in Diddy's case. Why would you immediately settle if it wasn't some sentiments of guilt in that, or you wanted to get her out of the way because she has something credible that could possibly lead you to prison or some kind of conviction? Now, the most recent claim accuses Diddy of aiding and abetting his youngest son, Kingcombs, in a sexual assault lawsuit of his own. Can you say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Listen, man, this is deep. Kingcombs is being accused of sexually assaulting a young lady that worked on a yacht in which his father, and an entourage had a party in 2022. She alleges that Kingcombs did very similar things that Diddy did. Came on to her. She was she was resistant initially because she was employed. That's a conflict of interest for employees to mingle with the customers. So she tried to hold her ground, and then he offered her a drink, and she said he drugged her and then assaulted her. This is the exact behavior that his dad does. In fact, was he groomed himself to be that way? Who knows? But this thing is crazy, right? So Kingcombs was accused again of the assault thing, and they're saying that Diddy is aiding and abetting him, like hiding him out, so he's not accountable for this. Now, the straw that really... Now, again, the Cassie thing was deep, and right after Cassie came out with a lawsuit, many other lawsuits came out. Immediately after Cassie, 3 young women came out and said that Diddy sexually assaulted them, one even back in 1991. But out of those 3 women that came out together, they said that Diddy, 2 of them said that they were minors. They were under 18 when Diddy assaulted them. Statutory rape. This is deep. But again, most people that sexually abuse people, most perpetrators of sexual assault were once themselves victims of sexual assault, Diddy included. Now, Joy Dickerson Neal's lawsuit came out, and that was filed under the New York Adult Survivors Act, which offered a 1-year window to victims of sexual assault to come forward no matter how long ago the abuse occurred. So this Adult Survivors Act actually encouraged other women to come out and state their claim and file suits against Diddy. Now, I understand this thing is very hard to do because you feel like it's just you. You feel you may have a host of different feelings of why you won't come out, and also fear of what could potentially happen to you, a lot of the media ridicule and so forth and so on. But it's just like being in a classroom and you don't understand nothing that the teacher is talking about, but you're afraid to say, I don't understand, and you don't want to raise your hand. So the teacher says, does everybody understand? Everybody just cool. I understand. Until that one bold person raise their hand and say, excuse me, I don't understand. See, that was Cassie. And then what happens after that first one bold person proclaims that, listen, I don't understand. Everybody else say, me too, me too, me too. Sounds familiar, right? The Me Too Act. This is not just in sexual assault. This is in all areas of life. People just need help sometime with being bold. Cassie helped them out. Cassie was the bold person to raise her hand first and say, listen, something ain't right about this and I'm going to do something about it. Now everybody's coming out of the woodworks. And this one, Joy Dickinson Neal's case was really big. Now she says that Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted her back in January of 1991. So this is not a new rodeo for Diddy. This has been going on for years. In 1991, Diddy had to be in his 20s. When did this start? It started when Diddy himself was abused. I'm going to drop that video in a second. Now, okay. She also says that Diddy recorded it all and showed other people. Now, he was doing this in 1991. Drugging, abusing, and sexually assaulting women and showing the videos. Listen, so we 25 years later plus. So he's a true expert at it to the point where he got a whole system working on bi-coastal system. That's why it's sexual trafficking at this point. Now, if you thought this was bad on February 26th, that's when the whole game changed. Rodney Jones, Little Rod, whatever you prefer, he dropped the true bombshell. This was the first man to come out and say, listen, I was sexually assaulted too. Now, Rodney Jones alleged he also was drugged, harassed, and violated by Diddy and associates, right? Now, he made light to many other allegations and named other celebrity offenders in his lawsuit. Now, he hasn't been questioned yet, but when he does, it's going to be very damaging. In my estimation, if these allegations hold true. I mean, Rodney went so far as to say that Young Miami's cousin, Diddy sent them to try to abuse him in the bathroom because the whole thing with Rodney Jones, Diddy, it was personal with Diddy because he wanted to convert Rodney Jones. He brought other people in and he alleged that like, other celebrities, Cuba Gooding Jr. and a host of other celebrities, Diddy tried to sick him on him and Rodney stood his ground. Even when he was in the bathroom, Diddy sent Young Miami's cousin in to start giving him head in the bathroom and he still held his ground. She came out, tried to straddle him and ride him. He still held his ground. Good for you, Rodney Jones. So Rodney Jones definitely is a big deal when he really gets questions and come to the forefront when the FBI question him and things like that. It's going to be very damaging on Diddy. Now, when did Diddy's narcissism start? I believe this started when he was a kid. I believe that this started in his home. Now, here's the thing. This is why I say it started in his home. The biggest influences on a person, on us all, is our home and our environment. Now, the most influential people in our home and in our environment are our parents. Now, if you remember correctly, Diddy's dad. Unfortunately, he was murdered when Diddy was really small, just a young kid. But Diddy's dad ran with major hustlers. They say Diddy's dad was a major hustler. In fact, he was on the New York crime, hustle scene with some of the greats. Some of the people we see being portrayed in some of these movies. It's crazy. So, what happened to Diddy? When did the narcissism start? When was Diddy abused? And in what way, shape, or form was he violated? Because Diddy's behavior didn't just start. This is learned behavior.
Yes.
Now, one thing I understand about Diddy in his early upbringing, his childhood, his home, his mother and father, his father was a hustler, made big, he was a big baller, got killed, but they hosted many parties. They hosted many parties. And Diddy's just a little kid, a little, very little toddler probably when it started, and things like that. So now let's visualize that. You hosting parties, you big money, you got all these people coming in, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol. Diddy's exposed to that as a very young kid, a toddler. So again, your biggest influence is your home and your environment. So you don't challenge that, you embrace it as right because you think that this is how life is, especially as a kid. What happened to Diddy during those parties? Because I truly believe this is something happened to Diddy in the midst of those parties, in the midst of engaging with adults, in the midst of all these drugs and alcohol, in the midst of all of this partying and drugs and all this stuff, Diddy was violated. This is what I think, and this is what led to the narcissist that we see today that's openly violating other people and not caring about it at all. Now, again, I mentioned Diddy's dad was allegedly a major hustler, and he and Diddy's mother hosted many parties when Diddy was a child. Diddy's father was murdered while Diddy was a young kid. Now, was Diddy exposed to too much? Was Diddy exposed to too much sexually explicit behavior as a kid? It was exposure. Yes. And he was also violated in my estimation. So a few questions that I had. Was Diddy himself touched or abused as a kid? Victims of abuse usually become abusers. That's why I believe Diddy was totally abused as a kid. Now, I'm about to play the video, but one question I want to pose. What part did Diddy's mother play in Diddy's learned behavior?
Yeah, my mom's is gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. We call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. Mom freshly dipped though.
What? So you gotta be sure my shoes.
I was trying to show you the shoe. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be. Especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom Duke know how to have a good time. Cause they ain't sitting in the house playing. They outside moving and shaking, baby.
Got that right.
She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog. You know, I want to live life. We out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms. You know? Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
So you saw the video for yourself, right? Bizarre, right? Very, very bizarre. And I watched it many times. And as I watched it and sit, and I would feel different things. And I jotted a few notes down, just a few, maybe 5 or 6 points. The first is this. Did you notice his mother's white fingernail polish? It was alleged in the lawsuits that Diddy made all of the people that he abused wear white fingernail polish because something about the white fingernail polish and how it showed up in the videos, so forth and so on. If you see in the video, Diddy's mother has on white fingernail polish. Is this where Diddy learned how to do that? I don't know. I'm calling it like I see it. Next point. You hear when he talk about his mom is single? It's almost like he's indirectly like promoting his mother. Almost like prostituting his mother. You know what that behavior sounds like? When Diddy would videotape him assaulting other females and send it out, getting props to some of his other friends and things. That's what I felt when I heard him promoting his mother sexually on this video, right? Next point. He mentioned that his mother goes with him to strip clubs. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm not judging. I'm just calling it like I see it. But I would never, ever, and God rest my mom's soul. She's not alive, but I would never, even if she was alive, I would never go to a strip club with my mother. In fact, I would never be able to be normal or be how I would normally be if my mother was there at a strip club. So for you to feel comfortable, for you to take your mother to a strip club with you and verbalize it in a minute and feel that comfortable, Something's not right. There's some boundaries that are not in place that should be in place. But here's the thing. Were there ever any boundaries in place? This is things that make you wonder. I just call it like I see it. I'm not judging, but this is what I feel. Now, next one. She can touch the floor with her palms. He is promoting his mother sexually. How can you hear that without trying to visualize it? You can't. And then look what she said. What she said? She said, flat, meaning palms flat on the ground. Yo, you saw it for yourself. I'm not making this up. Diddy appears to be just like his mother, almost in the image of his mother, who violated Diddy when he was a kid. You answer for yourself. Next point I wrote down. The video just has weird energy. It has weird energy. Now, again, at this point, Diddy has been, and money didn't help because money just makes you a rich, whatever you started out as. So if you're a pedophile and you get money, you're just a rich pedophile. If you're a sex trafficker and you get money, you're just going to be a big, more confident sex trafficker. So if you put someone that's been violated, a sexual assault, if you put a perpetrator, a predator, right? If you give him money, he just gets more creative ways to be a predator. He just gets more confidence in being a predator. He's just more bold. He's just less caring because he feels like he's untouchable. And then Diddy's ace card, his get out of jail card free, is the videotapes. Diddy knew what he was doing. Diddy, this is not a coincidence. Diddy knew that ultimately there's a chance that he could possibly be caught. But he's saying basically, I'm not going down alone. And I did another video and I tell you, Diddy's not going to go to jail. Diddy's not going to go to jail in my estimation because he has tape on some of the highest profile people in the world that's been to his freak off parties. And some of them are not going to prison. Diddy got something up his sleeve and he's planted step by step. All his media interactions are contrived. He knows that he has all of the attention right now, all eyes on me. He's Tupac right now, right? And he's using it to his advantage. Who violated Diddy? Was Diddy's behavior learned? By who? You saw the video. What's your thoughts? What do you think? Listen, I thank you so much for watching. I'm going to keep it exciting for you. I'm going to keep giving you my perspectives. I'm going to keep giving this wisdom to you. Until next time, be great. But more importantly, be blessed.